NASCAR history has left behind dozens of racetracks as it skyrocketed in popularity throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Tracks like North Wilkesboro, Pikes Peak, Riverside, and Rockingham all fell off the schedule, and several disappeared entirely. In their place, tracks in larger markets like Chicago, Texas, and Las Vegas popped up all over the country. But somewhere along the way, NASCAR lost its southern roots, its identity, and the tracks that made the sport what it is. And though Rockingham hasn't held a NASCAR Cup Series race in over a decade, Outsider Racing League is bringing it back to life in iRacing for round 2 of the season. It has character, banking, bumps, and history. Tonight, Outsider Racing League writes more history as it heads to a southern racing staple. The Rock is round 2 of the season. Welcome to SimTV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna tonight. Finian, round 2 from an American classic, Rockingham Speedway, The Rock. Everybody loves this place. I don't think there's anybody that says that they don't want to see racing back here, but tonight we get to do it in the virtual world.
Yeah, and you were talking about this place having character, and it really does. I mean, if you look at it from the top, from just like the top, or from track map as we got on the screen there, I mean, it looks kind of cookie cutter in some ways, obviously, because it's just the outline of the track. It looks like your typical American oval. But when you get down to the surface and just see the banking in this turn, because I always say, like, even the camera does not do it justice. I don't think, when you're driving around here, and just also the bumps, as you're saying, even though the surface is new, you can see pretty black. This place is really bumpy. And again, gives it just a lot of character. It's a very interesting track to drive. None of the corners drive anywhere similar to the other. So it's a unique challenge for these drivers here tonight. You're looking at Elliott Butler on the track.
Qualifying is underway here tonight. About 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Brandon Bowers at the top of the board with a 22.313. We've talked about his qualifying in seasons past. It's been good, but the longevity of his pace over the long run has not. Is tonight Brandon Bowers' night?
I can definitely see him doing well here again. I think he's showing a lot of his skill last season, especially but obviously, he's been struggling in the part of getting to the checkered flag. Kind of, just some bad luck along the way as well. So I really think this season, especially with the new team with Dark Racing this season, those guys have done very well, and I could definitely see him doing better. Eventually, even being a chase driver, he can keep up with his performance.
Drivers we have to watch out for tonight. Yusuf Ghali, as always, in the 54 is going to be a force to be reckoned with. But how about Connor Horn, the number 3 Finian? He is a very fierce competitor out there, and he came from a lap down to almost win the race last week at Daytona. It was AJ Stravato that ended up going to victory lane after dominating that race, but Connor Horn, we're just waiting for him to get up here, and when he's going to finish his qualifying lap very shortly, 22.550 puts him 8th quick, so I think a little bit of work to do for the 3 tonight.
Yeah, we'll see here. I'm not sure if this is his first lap or if it's his second lap. I believe it's his first. Let's see if he can try to improve just to get up a little bit through the order. The majority of the drivers here not qualified. 13 out of the 30 have put down a time.
I'm a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. I thought we'd see more drivers want to qualify. It seems like, oh, wow, Connor Horn second quick on lap 2, so it immediately jumps up to 22.417. It seems like qualifying is going to be important tonight, because this is about as much of a short track as an intermediate track can get. It's just under a mile here, but the banking and the way you drive it kind of feels like a short track to me, almost like a mix between Bristol and Texas, somewhere in there. It's a pretty wild ride.
It really is, and that's why I think it's such a unique place. It's not really an intermediate track as we normally think of it, not necessarily a short track as we normally think of it. It's somewhere in between, and that's what I think makes this place a little more fun. Also on the grid for tonight, who wasn't here last week, is Tim Downey Jr. in the 25.
So, as we get ready to go racing, tonight's event is going to be 155 laps. That's 150.2 miles here at Rockingham Speedway. If it goes green from start to finish, it'll take us about 57 minutes to get this event underway. Let's head down to the starting lineup. We're going to let this scroll on the bottom of the screen here as it rolls through. I want to remind you that SimTV has just launched the SimTV merchandise store. This has been something we've been working on for a really, really long time to get this right and to be a better experience than it was last year when we worked with a different partner. Now everything's done through PayPal, everything's done through their service. So if you head to simtvbroadcasting.com/store, you can check out all the stuff that we've got available. We've got a really cool moisture wicking tech t-shirt. We've got polos that are like the one I'm wearing right now. If you're watching the behind the stream, you can kind of check that out. We've also got snapback hats in black. For now, we'll have white later. We also have a vinyl decal and a quarter zip. So we got all sorts of stuff. So make sure you check out that simtvbroadcasting.com/store. The link is in the video description. Thank you again for joining us here for Outsider Racing League race number 2. Again, you're watching Sim TV. So, track conditions tonight, Finney, and tell me about them. What do they look like?
Currently on the track, it's 100 degrees. You could probably expect that to drop, especially it being mostly cloudy. I'm actually kind of surprised that we were looking at here at the track before the race got underway. It was pretty cloudy. Obviously, you can see there it's mostly cloudy, and yet the track is still 100 degrees in temperature. So I think we can definitely expect it to drop, as the track's, I think, almost entirely in shade at the moment.
Yusuf Ghali running the Grid Life Touring Cup paint scheme on this car. And again, Grid Life Touring Cup, the exciting new Wheel series that had their first round of the 2020 season last week in Texas. Next round I will be at in NCM Motorsports Park in April 17th and 19th, so very excited for that.
Yeah, you can see on the bottom of the screen, Tim Downey Jr. starting next to better than his teammate Zach Halpert in the 26. With that team doing really well last season, with especially Tim Downey Jr. taking the championship. You see actually sporting a new orange car.
Yeah, looks really good out there. And again, Tim Downey Jr., again, you're reigning champion, and missed last week at Daytona, but he's here this week, so the field's going to roll off. We're getting ready to go racing tonight. 155 laps, and Finian, it's a little bit warm out there considering the sky conditions. How worried are you about a quick caution here in the opening laps?
I'm actually not quite worried about it. These cars, especially with the high downforce package, are really stable around this place. We have seen some guys get a little bit loose, really just running that bottom lane, but I think, again, with the cloudy conditions and what I expect to have a lower temp later on, I definitely could see this race going pretty green from the get-go. We'll definitely see if we are in for a wild ride tonight.
So up front, it's Brandon Bowers, the number 31. He's the pole sitter for tonight. Had a really good qualifying effort. We'll see if he can keep it up there tonight. 155 laps here from Rockingham Speedway. Time to go racing for Outsider Racing League. Round number 2, Daytona last week. The Rock this week. Pace car is going to peel off. And then now the field is in the hands of Brandon Bowers. We have another race to get underway. Green flag flies, and we're racing at the Rock. Oh, trouble! The 6-car round! Butler spun down entering turn number 3. Caution is out.
Save it.
And I think he'll be able to continue, but a scary moment on the opening lap as we had a car go around, and it was the 6 of Elliott Butler. And so as quick as we started, we're back under caution.
Yeah, I'm curious who else was involved in that, but for the most part, it looks like no one really got any damage.
So let's take another look, and we'll see how he got, again, working with cold tires here. Yusuf Ghali in front of him. And a bit of a bobble, and we got together with, is that Matt White? Wow, who was that went, oh, that was Matt White in the number 1 car, up the middle. Not on board with him. Wow.
Talk about shooting the gap.
Oh, man.
Now, it was that car, I think, that he almost got into.
I know that there was a discussion about changing the way the numbers are handled here. So I don't think I can fix this, unfortunately. There was a discussion about turning off the custom numbers. I don't think everybody got the memo, though, unfortunately. So we'll take one last look at it. Again, the car was underneath Yusuf Ghali at the exit of turn 2, and he just gets a little bit loose, gets into Ghali, and Elliott Butler just kind of spun to miss it. Wow. And that was, I'm amazed that wasn't a bigger mess than it was.
I think he's definitely lucky that it didn't get turned into a bigger mess, because he could have just gotten turned to the outside wall. And here on pit road is last week's winner at Daytona, AJ Stravato, and currently your points leader.
Yeah, that's a concern, I think, is are you giving up track position early, or are you just trying to stay out of trouble? But he's been on pit lane for a while here.
Yeah, I think he might be just trying to cycle to the back of the pack, so I think he's waiting for guys further up pit road to
I don't see any damage on that car, so it looks like he'll continue.
Yeah, I think this is just guys maybe trying to stay in the back. Maybe they sense this being a little bit more chaotic and trying to just play it out easy, but still Brandon Bowers up in the front. What else can I say? Beautiful Monster Energy paint scheme. This is what Kurt Busch should have had.
Okay, so this hot take here, because a lot of people like those monster schemes. And I do too. I don't think they're bad. I just think that the green is such a good green, and it contrasts so nicely with the black. You need to have more color on them, don't you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like Kurt's car is all right, but I mean, especially like in the black and the green, like their Monster Energy cans look amazing.
Yes,
because they got the deep black and then they got the fluorescent colors. It looks really good and it's very eye catching, and the cars should look the same, but that's a great paint scheme.
I always thought if they had a monster car that was white, it looked like, you know, the 0 calorie.
I want to
look
see
awesome.
what I want to see from a sponsor is do something similar. I love how Denny Hamlin, when the FedEx did like the different,
like the different
FedEx
tan colors,
FedEx brown, FedEx Air. I love that he had different colors for it. It looked really cool.
It did. All right, time to go racing again and restart lap number 5. You okay? Finian's feeling a little under the weather today, so we'll have to deal with him as he gets through it. Time to go racing again. Bauer's Horn. 2 Camaros on the front row, then it's Golly's Camry alongside Matt White in the number 1. Here we go. Field back in control of Brandon Bowers. Green flag back in the air. Whoa, the 1 car sideways in front of the field. And he'll get out of the way, and I think we'll pull away successfully that time. Up front, Bowers breaks away.
Yeah, that's just both tires getting on this restart. These guys just can't slam on the gas even with reduced horsepower with this package.
Behind him, that's Caleb Weekly in the number 10, Michael Sturgill in the 90 down to the bottom of the racetrack, Justin Krzyzewski in the 4, right against that yellow line. Talking about multiple grooves here tonight, Finian. Once the tires get up to temp, do you think the high side is a valid place to pass around here, or do you think it's bottom feeding tonight?
I think it might be more bottom feeding, although we have seen in the past some runs that work really well off the corner. We'll have to keep an eye on these guys as the run goes on. I think we're definitely going to see a change.
The other thing is, I don't think we've ever seen a new tire model car race here before.
No, we've not.
So that's certainly going to change how things are handled. Yusuf Ghali is hounding the back of Connor Horn right now.
And it looks like all these guys at the moment are just going straight to the bottom, just riding that yellow line. Not too surprised, there's a lot of banking to work with on this track, so I think they're just using that to advantage, keeping this car at the bottom. You can see also the sparks coming off the cars up ahead.
Eric Mickey in the 86, he was running really well at Daytona last week, got caught up in a late collision, and is currently 6th after starting in 10th, so he's up 4 spots here early.
Yeah, it looks like he might continue to move forward. He's got Krzyzewski up ahead in the 4 car. And speaking of also, just looking at Matt White, he's all the way back in 27th after restarting in the top 5. He did a great job missing that first wreck, but unfortunately just spinning the tires on that restart really cost him a lot. He's pretty much half a lap down, 11 seconds behind the leader.
Up front, Brandon Bowers holding the lead, and I'm really impressed with Bowers so far, but I guess the question is, will he be here at the end of the night? We have not seen him be able to stay up front when he starts up front, and tonight's going to be a challenge for him to overcome what he's dealt with in the past. Joshua Banks in the 36, he's working over Adam Meyer in the 12. That car is 13.
Whoa,
oh, big slide for him. Big slide, and still, there he goes.
Oh, and he's going to get some help, too, from the 42 of Andrew Gustafson.
And for Meyer, that's big damage here.
Yeah, and he's actually taking off the track, so I think that might be it for him. Both cars to go back under caution.
And we saw that kind of, I don't know, something felt wrong about the way that he was catching that car, Finnan, and unfortunately he just kind of lost it at the very end. Here's another look. Just gets off into the corner and already a little bit sideways and just gets behind and catching it.
And Banks got really lucky. The fact that he didn't turn back down on him, unfortunately, 42, not the same.
And again, when he walks into the corner, you can see the car. He gets to the bottom of the track right here. It's going to walk up the hill just a little bit, and he snaps right here. And you see him trying to correct the car back to the right, and then he gets door slammed by the 42. Nothing that Gustafson did wrong there, just bad timing and the wrong place to be.
He thought that the 12 was going to spin back down, but the 12 held his line there.
So, the field is on pit lane. Are you surprised that we've seen this many cars choose to come down this early?
Not too surprised. I think they feel like, any decent amount of laps under green, I think it's worth coming down pit road. So, we'll see here. We'll see also if anyone dares try maybe 2 tires.
Well, we have a group of cars that has decided to stay out. One of those drivers is Justin Krzyzewski in the 4 car.
Yeah, in fact, the entire top 5 from Krzyzewski, Sturgill, McCorkle, Sprout, and Wright have all stayed out on the track. Everyone else has made the trip down on pit road, and it looks like Connor Horn might have won.
No, Bowers is actually going to win the race off pit lane. Horn will come off 2nd, Ghali in 3rd, but Bowers will reset in 6th place unless some of these other drivers come down pit lane to serve a stop. Looking from high above, it is dark out. The clouds have come over the speedway.
Let's take a look at our conditions because it should have.
No, it's track temp's pretty toasty today. 101 degrees, so it's hot and slick.
I mean, I'm not a meteorologist. Or know much about the weather, but I'm
a meteorologist?
No, meteorologist.
Is that someone who's really good at using meter sticks? 1 degree, nice quick yellows here at Rockingham.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that the air temp being 76 and the track temp being 100 and then it's going up. I would have thought it would have started to drop down.
I'm a little bit surprised just because there's so much cloud cover. Typically, you see the track lose temperature.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I would expect the temperature to be, 80, 85. I think that's like more or less where I would expect it to be, but.
Reminder that if you enjoy watching SimTV streams, right next to the subscribe button, if you haven't hit that, please do. There is also a join button to help support us. And, okay. Finian's reading chat and laughing.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I don't get it, but maybe I'm a little slow tonight.
That's what he says. That's what.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't get it.
Says it.
I'm sorry.
He says that when he.
I'm glad. Anyway, I was trying to shill our things for people to give us money, but I didn't get a chance to. So time to come back to the green flag here. Lap number 14. Great flag back in the air. Krzyzewski pulls off and away.
Whoa, 3 wide already down into turn 1. Bowers.
Oh, that's not going to work. Wow, how did they do that? McCorkle up the middle gets split 3 wide, and somehow they hang on to it. Jeff Wright and the 31 almost get together. Weekly sliding down the back straightaway. He'll save it.
Good job.
Right in front of our points leader, AJ Stravato, and everyone scatters a wild restart here at Rockingham.
Still not done yet. Bowers up into 3rd place on the restart. Fantastic run out of him. He's immediately trying to move up to the front as fast as he can. I think he's trying to beat Golly and Horn to the punch. I think he knows once they get around it, he's going to be in for a tough fight.
McCorkle, he got really caught off guard there and had to jump on the brakes. He certainly got... Everyone has their elbows out this early in the race, and I'm surprised to see the aggression here. Meanwhile, up front, Krzyzewski trying to drive away, but Bowers is closing. He only ran 2/10 off Krzyzewski's pace last time, and he's dealing with traffic behind.
Yeah, I think once he gets past the 90th start, I'll bet I think he should get to the 4 in relatively little time. Back at Joshua Banks, man, we always expect to be more towards the front, a little bit back in traffic so far in this race.
Chris Garrett in the 57, he was having a spectacular run at Daytona last week, got caught up in a big one late in the going, but this is a driver that we haven't seen a lot of last season. I'm really interested to see how he'll run at the end of the night, because we've seen how impressive Chris Garrett can be. Remember, his first ever race that he ran 2nd back at Las Vegas a couple seasons ago. He's up 7 spots so far tonight. Right on board the gyro cam here, you can really see how much banking is at this racetrack. 130 to 150 through the corners. You get down to turn 3, and it's like just dropping off a cliff when you fall into the banking.
Yeah, it really is, and it carries all the way out at turn 4. And you see, usually a lot of guys end up getting loose out at turn 4. Surprised we haven't really seen a whole lot of that tonight. But the night is still young, and they're only on lap 19 of 155.
Sturgill and Bowers fighting for 2nd place, but they are all catching Krzyzewski. That time by, everybody inside the top 10 was quicker than Krzyzewski, Sans, Mickey, and Kalusa in 9th and 10th.
Here comes Bowers now with a run on the 90 of Sturgill. I'm curious how much a fight he's going to put off. He knows the 31 has fresher tires.
You saw Bowers get down to the bottom of the racetrack, and his car just sidestepped about 3 feet.
And Sturgill went way too wide out of the corner. Now he's going to lose 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 spots in a straightaway.
You see a little bit of damage on the left front of that 54. That was from that initial contact he had with the 27 of... the 6 of Elliott Butler. I don't think it'll affect the 54. But Sturgill going backwards very quickly, and I think we'll see something similar when Krzyzewski gets caught by Bowers, but so far, still a half-second lead over the 2nd place car.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see the 4 stick up there. I mean, we saw him, he was pretty much running in around 5th place when that first caution came out. So I definitely think we expect him to stay there.
Reigning champion Tim Downey Jr. has pretty much gone nowhere. He's pit twice so far today, but his original starting position of 20th, he's actually dropped a spot. So I don't think the 25 has the pace yet this race, but I think after we have some laps under our belt here, I think we'll see him and Stravato, who's right behind him, climb up the order.
I think what he's definitely going to do, the 25, Tim Downey Jr. these first 2 races, and same thing also with Zach Halford. I think they're just trying to make it to the end of these races and get solid points, because remember, both those drivers are now entire race behind the rest of the field trying to get into the playoffs by the end of the season. So I think they're just going to start playing the points game these first 2 rounds to get back up.
Brandon Bowers has caught Krzyzewski. He's 2/10 back. Let's talk a little bit about the aerodynamic package. I know that's something everyone's sick of talking about. but you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
The spoilers on the back of these cars were raised last year to facilitate supposedly more passing and make the racing closer. What it has actually done is made it a lot more difficult for the following driver to stay close behind. So what is Bowers fighting with right now?
He's definitely fighting with a little bit of aero wash as we watch him go up in the corner. Notice that really here, these guys are able to stick in pretty close in behind each other. You can see him having to offset a little bit to keep the car rotating, but still gaining a run on the forward.
See the 12 car of Adam Meyer. He's back out on the racetrack. 13 laps down for the lead. Bowers to the inside of Krzyzewski in turn 3. Pass complete. And he'll go back to the top spot.
Solid pass there for Bowers. He's going to get that lead back. And here comes also
Look at the
Jeff
top
Wright.
5. Wow. Yeah. Look how close this is up
Yeah.
to the top 5. Everyone wants a piece of the
I don't
leader.
know what it is necessarily about this place, whether it's the banking or just the configuration, but this new package has worked here pretty well compared to most other tracks on the NASCAR circuit, on the Cup circuit.
In the background, you saw Elliott Butler passing Angelo Ronis. Butler has rebounded to 11th after his spin.
And here's a driver we haven't really talked about, I think, for the last 10 races in this series a whole lot. Jeff Wright in the 48s. He came into the playoffs. We were expecting to see him potentially as the champion, but just kind of fell off towards the end of it and kind of slipped out of the no. And now here he is kind of with a resurgence here. Wasn't doing too hot in this race, but I think staying out on that last pit stop really helped him gain some track position, and he's still up in third.
And they're now all kind of stacked up behind Krzyzewski. And Wright, Golly, Horn are all in this group, and Zach Carr is not too far behind either.
And look how nose to tail they are, which is, again, something you don't necessarily see. I think the banking's really helping them kind of mitigate the aero wash a bit.
What the banking does is it allows you to kind of lean more on the mechanical grip of the race car. You're not relying on the aerodynamics quite so much, and it allows you to have higher corner speed, and you don't have to rely on the air coming over the front of your car. But here comes Wright for second down the inside in turn 1. Krzyzewski will give him the bottom lane, and Wright's going to be able to drive right on by.
Yeah.
Oh, golly. Going to get kind of stuck in here, and Horn's going to try to use the 4 as a pick to get by the 54 down the inside for turn 3. And well executed for Horn. He'll go to third, or fourth, rather. Zach Carr sitting in behind watching this, trying to figure out if that hole will open to the bottom of the 54. It does, but Godley fills it before Carr can.
Whoa,
that was
close
inches.
To the 4, yeah. And I think Krzyzewski's just trying to slowly shuffle his way on back. I think he knows he's at a disadvantage with this group of drivers. They can see him slotted right in behind Zach Carr, and he'll hold on to 6.
Eric Mickey up to 7th. You see just behind this group, he just got by Michael Sturgill and Alex Bell. So move Mickey back up to 7th.
Bell sending it into the corner pretty hard. Gonna just get on by the 90.
So Krzyzewski stayed out on that last caution. He was your leader at the restart. Now he's dropped to 6th. So I think we've kind of evaluated that strategy. So later in the race, you're going to want tires.
Yeah. Especially when you have so many other fast drivers on fresher tires. Although, granted, Jeff Wright's still on the old tires, and he's worked out pretty well for him. Connor Horn, Golly, and Carr have yet to get on by him, although I feel like that might change here in the next 5 to 10 laps.
Andrew Gustafson is pulled off the racetrack. He's now scored 2 laps down, so not exactly sure what's going on there. And checking back in with our reigning champ, Tim Downey Jr., up to 18th. The progress has been slow tonight for the 25.
Slow and steady, he might not win the race, but it definitely helped get you a championship, and I think that's what he's trying to work with. You see, right now, really, I think starting to struggle with these older tires, trying to keep up with these guys. Up ahead, you see Connor Horton getting by. I feel like the 54 is going to be lining up next for a shot at getting past.
Yeah, Connor Horn's last lap was a 23.302, but the lap before that was a 23.0, which is exactly what Brennan Bowers ran last time by, and Bowers has been setting the pace right now.
So it's Dark Smoke currently actually 1, 2, 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Bowers, Horn, and Wright. Then it's the Sim Motorsports driver of Yusuf Ghali, then Zach Carr, Eric Mickey, Bell, Krzyzewski, Kalusa, and Sturgill, the rest of your top 10. Elliott Butler up to 10th place now. He just got by Sturgill for that spot. And he continues his resurgence after starting in 5th, spinning on lap 1, and he's back to 10th.
Yeah, definitely has the pace. I mean, again, the only reason he really spun was that he was trying to avoid Zach Carr and did a great job holding onto that car and not picking up any damage from that. So, resurging back now in 10th place. He's got a few more spots he can potentially get past.
He's dropped as low as 24th out of the 29 cars that started this race. We have 2 retirements listed so far. They are Andrew Gustafson and Adam Meyer, both involved in the second caution of the night.
And Martin Sproul in 19, he's 3 laps down. Not sure what happened to him. His car looks perfectly fine, so he might have had to step away from the sim potentially.
Yeah, well, I'm also seeing a pretty long pit stop time, so there could have been a penalty assessed potentially, but
Could have been, yeah.
but it's dropped him now 3 laps down from the leader. That's a lot of time to make up. Meanwhile, Bryce Calusa in the number 20 is having a pretty solid day so far. Started 18th, up 9 spots to 9th.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. That's one of the biggest movers tonight so far in this race. Here comes Chris Garrett, though, in the 57 and 10th, up the inside of Calusa. Oh, and here comes Calusa with a big run on the outside and a caution out.
It was Caleb Weekly in the number 10. We saw him for a moment. And let's find out what happened here to trigger our 3rd caution of the night. I think what we're going to see is him just end up getting loose.
Yeah, it looks like turn 2 has been quite the trouble spot for tonight. Again, would have thought it would have been more turn 4, but here he comes out of the corner. Oh. Gets a little bit loose, almost saved it, hard into the inside wall.
Yeah, and that was enough. Pulled onto the racetrack and stopped. That was our 3rd caution of the night, and I think everybody's going to want to come on down and get tires and fuel now.
Apparently, we're hearing that Martin was having connection issues, so I guess that might also be part of it as well. But now, definitely expect most, if not all, of the field to come down, especially Jeff Wright. And this worked out fantastic for Jeff Wright. They gave him quite a few spots, and he's still sitting in 3rd with that call, and now he's going to be able to get tires with everyone else.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will try staying out. Maybe there'll be someone that'll try to come out just to lead a lap, but they will probably come in and get tires. I think we've seen how important they are here tonight with how much wear this surface is putting on them.
So you'll see anyone maybe further on back in traffic, and they might try to pull a 2-step strategy.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2 tires.
I still don't know. We have never really seen the 2-tire strategy on this tire model work successfully, but I don't think we've really seen a lot of people try it. I want to see someone try it. It's still early enough in the race that you can rebound if you make a mistake, but Casey Lakatos is just going to roll right on through. And nice looking livery on the 50 here this week. Reminds me of Blue Angels a little bit. A little blue and silver.
Alpha Barrel looks like no one's going to try anything too crazy. It looks like everyone's taking 4 tires and fuel and gotten back out on the tracks. Pretty much the same order as they rolled on.
Yep. And no major changes here. Eric Mickey did lose a couple spots. He's dropped to 9th. Martin Sproul, very happy. He got one of his laps back.
And I'm sure he's hoping the way these guys are running that nothing's going to change, because he should be able to, at this rate, get back onto the lead lap. If he can get one more lap back, I think we can definitely see him get back into this race.
Absolutely. Casey Lakatos will lead a lap, and we talked about this a lot last season. Casey Lakatos always does this, and you know why he does this, Vinny? Because this is a free point. It's so early in the race. I don't think you need to be leading this race right now to win the race at the end, so why not hang out at the back? Come in after you lead a lap, restart at the tail of the field and work your way back forward. I love this throwback paint scheme he's got on. I love the strategy. I love playing the points game, and it's going to work out for Casey Lakatos this season. His teammate Yusuf Ghali right now is running inside the top 5, so they've got the field kind of covered in that respect. So coming back to the green should be next time by. And Brendan Bowers will be your leader unless Casey Lakatos comes to pit lane, which I'm sure he will.
I will be surprised if he does stay out. I think it would definitely hurt him if he does. We definitely saw most of the guys in that top 5 group that stayed on the last caution. They suffered quite a bit. Looks like 50 is gonna drop on down. Surrender the lead back to Brandon Bowers, who's been dominating. Ooh, oh, okay.
That was, yeah, Jeff Wright just kind of faking.
Yeah, I would have been really surprised if he came back down.
So, one more reminder as we get the 1 to green here on the pace car. If you have not yet subscribed to SimTV, please do so. We got racing almost 7 days a week for quite some time in the future. We got road racing, oval racing, Cup, Xfinity, national cars. We've got Skip Barbers, we've got GT3, everything you could ever want to watch here right here on SimTV. Epic Leagues. If you want to join our Discord and talk to the community, you can do that in the link below. If you want to join us and help support SimTV at 3 different levels, there's a join button right next to the subscribe button. At the lowest level, you just get the emojis. At the next level up, you get a free decal after 2 months. And after 2 months, at the highest level, you get a free SimTV snapback hat, which, trust me, that's a good deal. So, check it out. Also, check out our store at simtvbroadcasting.com/store.
If you don't want to be a member, but you still want the merch, yep, definitely pick it up. Sit with the hat, got some polos, and also a really nice hoodie.
Yeah, the cheapest way to get the hat is to do the membership. You'll get it, basically, you'll get it for free. You just pay shipping after 2 months, and then the 2 months of membership. So, all right, time to go racing tonight. Again, at lap number 43, almost a third of the way done with this race. Brandon Bowers has been in control of the night. He's led 26 laps, make it 27. Green flag back in the air here at the Rock. Brandon Bowers got away with a clean restart, but Jeff Wright is all over him. I saw some cars out in the background, all over the place. It's the...
it's Krasneski. Or no, not Krasneski, sorry. It's
Sturgill in the 90. Whoa, Sprouse swings left to miss it, and he does. Caution out, Sturgill around.
It looks like no one else was involved in this incident.
A little bit of damage on the right side door, so I wonder if he got up into the wall at the exit of turn 2. And let's go find out what happened to the number 90. And whoa! Let's go back and see exactly how this shaped up a little bit more, but I think he was just trying to miss somebody and ended up kind of swinging wide. That's the 11 of Angelo Ronis on the outside. It looks like he just kind of bobbles over a bump,
a little bit
maybe bounces off the door.
Yeah.
And here's another look. We'll get a slightly better angle here, but you're going to see the 11 on his outside. They're going to come up off the corner, and we talk about how bumpy Rockingham is. He's going to hit a bump right here at corner exit. Watch the car snap. Kind of jumps right there off to the right. And Ronis is coming down just a little bit. They bounce off, and 90 did a good job keeping it off the wall, but goes around for a loop.
Yeah, and also Martin Sprout, you got really close to getting into that as well. You can probably see from this angle as well.
Through the smoke and dives off left at the last minute. Well done.
Yep, and you can see him here. Got lucky with that. Quick
Sure
yell,
did.
that's going to put him one lap down.
Whoa, Eric Mickey. I think he just missed his box in pit lane. Saw some reverse. Yeah, just overshot it just a little bit. No harm, no foul.
Funny thing is that technically, I think he was actually in his box. But the sim said, nope, yeah, the backup just a little bit. So he'll just get it corrected and get back going.
So, last week's winner, AJ Stravato here, Finian, was dominant last week.
Yeah.
Currently 15th. What's up?
Honestly, cannot tell you. I don't know. I think he might just be playing it safe tonight. I'm sure his teammates are definitely giving him stuff because they're running 1, 2, 3. He's all the way back in midfield in 15. So I'm curious if we might see him potentially get back up there in the later part of this race if he's just playing it easy for now. I can see the same thing too. Curious, where is the 25 and the 26? They're playing it very easy. 24th and 25th. And we definitely know that these two have much more pace than them.
Yeah, I think, you know, is there a reason that you wouldn't want to push at this point in the race? Do you think it's not worth it? We've seen some incidents happen throughout the midfield. Do you think they're just waiting for later in the race, or do you think they're just going to hang out here for all of today?
I think they're going to stay here potentially until like around lap 100. I think, and some more guys crash out. I think they just, again, really want to make sure they make it to the end of this race and pick up some solid points. I don't think they're worried about wins at this point in the season. I think they're going to just wait to get some solid points, get back into this championship picture. Because technically they're not even on the board yet, either of them, because they both missed Daytona last week. So I think that's the goal for that team.
So, caution out again tonight. And we've done 48 of our 155 laps, so still relatively early in this race. And one thing that we've found out is it's not so much the car-to-car contact that's causing issues. It's the bumps and bruises on this racing surface. You get in this car, and you're trying to get the tires up to temp. You hit one of those bumps, and it's just going to snap on you.
This time should be one lap to green. Yep, there we go. Lights out on the pace car. And Jeff Wright, I think he might be able to take away the lead here. I am curious what's going on with these guys, if they're, the 31, the 48, and the 3, they're going to play nice with each other and try to work up this race, because they're all 3 of them in the lead, and, you want to work together at least until the end, really, and then they can kind of battle amongst themselves. But for now, I think the goal is to play it nice. Make sure all the cars make it to the end of the race.
A little bit of damage on the right front of that 31.
Oh yeah, not sure where he picked that up from.
You can see the hood flap kind of messed up.
I wonder
there.
if that might have been when he went 3 wide on the restart. That's the only way it
could have been. It's not going to affect the car.
No.
But it's certainly, going to make it a little bit easier to damage the car later in the race. And you have to kind of treat the right sides of these race cars like a resource. Yeah. And it's a non-renewable one, so be careful with your stuff.
So far, though, he has done really good keeping off the wall. Has not been in it yet. We'll see if he can keep that up for the next 2/3 of this race.
Waiting for the green flag again. The dark skies here at Rockingham. Sparks flying on the racetrack tonight. Bowers and Wright lead them back to green, lap number 50. Whoa, big really slide by Connor Horn and cars around.
Zach car around to the inside. Caution going to be out back yet again. No, it's not. There it is.
And that's going to be big damage for Zach Carr, and he'll pull that car around, and that thing's pretty shortened up on at least the rear. Right back to yellow here tonight.
Front's not looking too hot either.
And they already were looking kind of racy off turn 2. I think Horn is the first one to bobble, I think. He gets on the apron. And you see Golly go to, Golly got into that too. Oh, man. And a couple other cars. I think Sturgill got a piece of that as well towards the end. But you're going to see, watch the 3 car on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to bobble, slide up the track. Carr is going to try to shoot the gap. He misses, but golly, nowhere for him to go. He's going to get into the back of the 27. So now the question is, how much is Golly's car damaged, if any?
Yeah, you have to take another look at it from his point of view to see how bad of a lick he took from that.
Right on board with the 54. Happened so fast. Doesn't really look like it's all that bad.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that took it pretty well.
Got away with it.
So he should be fine.
And so far tonight, Golly's been kind of stranded between 3rd and 8th. Hasn't really been able to go any farther forward or rearward.
Yeah, I think definitely he's competing against the 3 dark smoke cars around him. Those guys definitely seem to be the class of the field. Along with him, I'd say really anyone in this top 4 has got a shot of winning this race.
So Zach Halper and Tim Downey Jr., they're going to hit pit lane again, as they've been doing a lot tonight. Brandon Gagnon. We also have not mentioned Gagnon's name at all tonight. Also, guess who's back on the lead lap? It's Martin Sproul. So he got all 3 cautions he needed to get himself back on the lead lap in very quick succession.
He got pretty lucky too that no one else really got put a lap down in those scenarios, because once you get more than 1 lap down, it's really hard to get into that lucky dog spot, because you have to wait until you're the first car lap down, obviously, to get it. And when you're multiple laps down, it's really hard to do. So he really caught a break, and he still got 100 laps to move himself up the field. So looking to be pretty good for him tonight.
Clifton Cockrell in the Milwaukee Tool-sponsored Chevrolet Camaro from Texas. He pulls into the box. Michael Sturgill also back on pit lane.
And Cockrell's got rear end damage to that car.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers have been stacking up in reaction to these accidents. Eric Mickey has dropped rearward lately. Justin Krzyzewski back up to 6th. Remember, he stayed out early in the race to try to see how that strategy would work out. It really didn't. But now that we've got a quick rash of yellows, he's back inside the top 10 and looking really racy right now, so he might be able to sneak a top 5. Also, speaking of top 5, Elliott Butler only took him 53 laps, but he's right back where he started after his early spin.
Yeah, and good recovery for him, all things considered. And I think we get to see the true pace out of the 6 car, because he's been kind of mired back in traffic, so we'll see if he's got anything to hold. He can hold a candle to the guys up in the top 4, because it's going to definitely be a battle.
I'm just amazed at how dark the skies are here at Rockingham.
Take another look at our conditions.
Yeah, it really, we haven't seen, this track is really holding temperature today.
I think they got like heaters in the in the surface keeping it hot. I'm still surprised.
We need that in Watkins Glen. We can run in the winter. But they call it Thunder Alley. We don't want thunder here. No rain on the horizon. Well, there is rain on the horizon, but it'll never get here. That's a wonderful thing about virtual racing, is that
force field of keeping the rain out. Oh no, it's the vortex theory. This is where the vortex theory is alive.
Had 5 cautions so far tonight, and still got to get that. You know what? The more I look at that, I'm not quite convinced that that error with the caution laps not reporting is ATVO's or iRacing's fault, because it shows up correctly in the results graphic at the end, so I think I might have just formatted it wrong, so I will have to fix that. Anyway, coming back to the restart after our 5th caution of the night, and it's Bowers still in command. He has been the dominant car of the night, led 38 of our 54 laps that we've completed. Green flag back in the air, really early start that time, and Jeff Wright fires off. What a great restart for the 48.
31 was not able to get up to speed, unless that was by design, but it's going to be Jeff Wright up in the lead, Bowers in second, and here comes the 54, trying to wrestle away that 3rd spot from Connor Horn.
Give him a car width and no more down the back straightaway.
Here you see Eric Mickey, Casey Lakatos, Chris Garrett, and also Zach Carr was involved in the recent caution.
Yeah, and actually, Mickey and Casey Lakatos were the 2 drivers involved in one of the late collisions last week, so there might still be some hard feelings. Golly is driving the heck out of that 54 right now. Was all sorts of sideways at the exit of turn 2, putting pressure on Bowers for 2nd, and Horn putting pressure on him for 3rd. Sparks flying on the low tire pressures right now.
He's surrounded by Camaros. None of these guys want to work with him, and they're trying to get him out of this order. You see Connor Horn now making a move to the inside.
And Horn might have this at the exit of the corner. Bit of a bobble on that bump on the bottom of the racetrack. We've seen that be a problem. Oh, big block on the 6 of Elliott Butler.
Able to defend it that time, but Butler's been getting some pretty good runs. Here he comes yet again. Here comes Zach Carr, or sorry, not Zach Carr, Justin Krasneski to the inside.
And Krasneski has to back off on that, but golly, I think has used up his goodwill on the 6 car of Elliott Butler. I don't think Elliott's going to take a whole lot more of that. At the end of last week, it was all about blocking at the end of Daytona, and with all the blocking that they did, I was surprised that it didn't devolve into what we saw in the Daytona 500 last week. But I think tonight we might see some patience run out, because here retaliation is probable.
Very,
even
very
likely.
Especially in this series. We've seen guys have not withheld their punches. They've definitely given them.
And why would you? At a place like this, you can get revenge on a guy without completely junking him. Jeremy Miller was the Daytona winner last year, running a new livery on the Valvoline car tonight. Eric Mickey 3 wide at the exit of turn 4. That's 21 of Eddie Trejo on the outside and Zach Carr on the inside in the 27.
Mickey trying to clear Zach Carr, and it looks like he's able to coming out of 2. Now he can try to move his way up forward. I'm a little bit surprised he's dropped far back as 14. Would have thought he had a top 10 car, but here comes Chris Garrett now, the inside of the 27.
All the bumps and sparks flying from out the rear of the 27 on corner exit. The tire pressure is still building. Across the line, complete lap number 60.
Yeah, Zach Carr got a bit of the wall there, too, coming out of turn 4. And Chris Garrett's going to work by him relatively easily. And here comes now Tim Downey Jr. up in 18th, probably the highest position you've seen him all night.
AJ Stravato, last week's winner, also making an effort to move forward, but still seems like they're taking their time. But you know who isn't? Martin Sproul. He's charging forward for 2nd place, though. How about this fight? Horn, Bowers, and Golly all locked together at the exit of turn 2.
And Horn's worked past 31. Looks like Bowers is now starting to drop back a little bit. Here comes now Golly. Going to try to wrestle this away from the 31. And Bowers, I think, going to try to keep anyone else from disrupting the dark smoke stranglehold they have on the field 1, 2, and 3.
The sun has come out here and pinching down into turn 1. Bowers leaving Golly just enough car width to have a car there side by side at the exit of 2, inches apart down the back straightaway.
Looks like Bowers is going to get clear of the 54. Now here comes Elliott Butler trying to wrestle away the spot from Golly for 4th place.
Yeah, the sun has come out, so that's going to change how these cars handle. It's going to slicken up the racetrack a little bit, build even more heat in the tires that these guys are dealing with right now, so it's going to make it infinitely more difficult as this track heats up. Jeff Wright leads by 0.8 of a second over Connor Horn. For 3rd, it's quieted down slightly. For 4th, I think we might have a race on our hands here if Butler and Krasneski can get back to the 54.
Krasneski not able to build up enough of a run this time on the front straightaway, but he's definitely been tagging along behind the 6. You look back down the field. Here comes Ryan Lang and Zach Carr duking it out for the 15th spot.
And Carr with a damaged vehicle at the exit of turn 2, and here comes the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. He's definitely moving forward. He's actually bringing Casey Lakatos with him, the 2 Toyotas, working together to make hay through the field.
Yeah, this is more or less where I expected to see the 25 start to get into line. He's moving up earlier than I thought. I think he's just trying to pick up his position one by one.
Oh, last week's winner. Stravato almost went 3 wide, thought better of it, drives back to the bottom at the exit of 2. And we'll get by the 21 of Trejo.
And also you see Martin Sprout in picture there, so it looks like Tim Downey, Casey Licata, Sprout, and Stravato all kind of marching through the field at the same pace.
Okay. He's across the rear bumper.
And he's going to be high in the corner now, trying to build up a run on Jeremy Miller, and Miller trying to move up some spots as well. Here comes Garrett with a look. Miller can block him.
You have to make that decision in a split second. Do I keep the nose in there or do I back out and try again later? And as the laps tick off, that decision has to be made faster and faster, and you get more and more hesitant to lift the throttle.
Oh, and now you got a great run through the middle
man!
of the corner. It's going to get it choked off, though, by exit as a 30, and Miller's going to hold the spot. One battle is starting to heat up yet again is the 31 and 54 of Golly.
The damage on the 54 doesn't seem to be hurting him, but he's certainly putting pressure on Bowers, and this is what I was concerned about. Bowers is having a spectacular day, but he doesn't seem to be as dominant as he was early in the race, and once the track started taking rubber, his pace has slowed down.
He's still keeping up here, though, in third place, and I think even if he gets to top 5, it's definitely going to be a really solid finish for him.
That would be a very positive direction for him to take after some disappointing results last season, even with the really good qualifying efforts that he had.
He's got the short run pace, starting to build a better long run pace. So as you look close to Joshua Banks, haven't really seen him. I think this is probably the first time we've seen him in the top 10 all night so far.
Highest he has been is 8th place. That is the high, is where he's running currently. Bryce Calusa right behind him, putting pressure on him though to take that spot away. Bit of a slide. You saw the 36 get down to the corner and a bit of a lateral slip. And you see on corner exit how much more Calusa rather is able to keep the car hooked against the bottom lane. Banks doesn't seem to quite have the handling in that car. Look how much rotation the 20 has. He was kind of sideways entering the corner.
He's really throwing it into there and actually going to make a move now on Joshua Banks as he gets a great run off the 2, side by side into 3.
And we'll make that pass complete. So Calusa up to 8th place, Banks back to 9th. And right behind them is Angelo Ronis and Matt White. Remember, White almost crashed and junked himself on one of the restarts earlier in the race. He started up inside the top 10, and he's knocking on the door of getting his way back in there. He just has to get by Ronis, who started back at the tail of the field.
Yeah, Ronis leaving Dark Smoke after last season, forming his own team, the Ford Mustang. Doing a solid job running in 10th place so far. But yeah, trying to hold off Matt White as White's a little bit sideways off the Ford.
Yeah, Ronis has a good-looking race car as well this season, the silver and black.
Actually, I think also one of the highest running Mustangs, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that is the case. Bowers has moved over to Camaro this year. I believe he is the highest Mustang. Brzezinski and Golly running in the Toyota Camry. Everyone else is in the Chevrolet Camaro inside the top 10 with the exception of Ronis. Casey Lakatos and Tim Downey Jr. running 14th and 15th. And these two have been coming up tit for tat, lap after lap, following each other through the field. And I'm really liking the pace in both of these race cars right now. They were only 2/10 off the pace of the leader last time by.
Yeah, we're really starting to settle into a long green flag run. And I think we have a really good shot of potentially even going green all the way from here to the end of this race. These guys can keep it up. But yeah, you can see a little bit of a gap in distance between the 25 and up the road between Banks and Chris Garrett. Actually, just saw Chris Garrett take away the spot from Banks.
So now, let's head back up to the front. Jeff Wright is currently leading this race, and he has been out on the racetrack for 37 laps. What do you think our pit window is going to be? Maybe 10 to 15 more laps. We'll see some drivers hit pit lane, or do you think it'll be sooner or later than that?
I think we could definitely see them come here within the next 10 or so laps. I have to keep an eye on that as it goes. And actually, as Jeff Wright's going to come next time across the line.
Whoa, car sideways. Joshua Banks out of turn 4, slipping, sliding. Can he save it? He does.
Yeah, great job there.
And back up onto the racetrack, he's going to peel onto the apron. Got to get your heart rate back down after that one. There's a look out of turn 4. Oh, this was a lap prior here. Let's see if we can skip ahead here just a little bit to see exactly how he lost control, but it seemed like at the exit of 4, look, the car just bobbled. Oh, he got in the fence.
Yeah. It's a little bit too high on the exit.
Woo!
And great job wrestling that car under control. Took the whole straightaway, was able to keep it going straight.
Yeah, lost a bunch of spots, though. He's back in 19th. Meanwhile, up in front, Jeff Wright continues to lead, but Connor Horn is now starting to reel him in. He's gained 3/10 in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, just over the halfway point as well. Wright's going to lead this race. Connor Horn second. Brandon Bowers in third. Gali fourth, and Krasneski was able to take away the spot for 5th place.
Bell and Butler trading spots for 6th, and here comes Bryce Calusa up the inside of the 6th car as well, piling on the passing opportunities.
Oh, sent it a little bit too hard to the corner there. Had to back off a little bit sideways as he's trying to now fight with Elliott Butler. And Butler now starting to slip back a little bit as well. And here comes Ronis, Mickey, and Garrett in the picture.
Mickey putting pressure on Ronis, and Ronis has completely dilapidated that gap to Bryce Calusa. So we're going to have a multi-car fight for 6th place here in just a moment.
This is where it can get dicey. You can see a caution come out here because a lot of cars going for a lot of spots.
Been about 35 laps since we've had a caution flag. And the last caution was at the green flag we've been running for, about 10-15 minutes ago was the last caution. So it's been a little while. And you see the 20 of Bryce Calusa underneath Elliott Butler. Pass for position and pass complete. Now Butler's going to drop a couple more spots to Mickey and Ronis.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to end up dropping to the end of this line here as Ronis, Mickey, and potentially Garrett and Matt White are going to all get on by.
So while this has all been happening, Jeff Wright's lead has completely shrunk, and Connor Horn is there.
These two now up in front fighting for the lead. Now I'm curious how hard they're going to go at it because remember they are teammates. Still got a little less than half of this race left to go. I'm curious if they'll try to sort this out in chat. Maybe decide, Connor Horn's faster, let him carry the banner, or is it the 40 going to fight him for it?
Seeing significant drop-off in pace over the course of these runs, about 7/10 of a second. Now down to the inside for turn 3. And will Wright give it up, or will Horn have to earn it?
Looks like he's going to have to fight for it.
Right a little bit tight at the exit of turn 4. Going to make it easy. Horn leads that lap. He has led 1 lap today.
Actually, looks like Wright is going to surrender it. Give him a little bit of a fight.
I'm not sure how much of that was surrendering, how much of it was just being slower. Horn to the lead here on lap number 86. Behind him, Alex Bell, and that 6th place fight continues up the road. There is a very damaged 42 car of Andrew Gustafson back on the racetrack, 18 laps down.
It's a visible lane for the 42, and no real signs of improving. The next car ahead of them position-wise is the 7 of Cody McCorkle, who is 7 laps down.
Yeah, and Bell made a big mistake in turn 4 and ended up having to give a spot away to the 20 of Calusa and Ronis, and here comes Chris Garrett.
Yeah, and they're another group that's kind of been marching up through the order.
And Bell really wide. Wondering if their 15's dealing with a tire issue.
It could be might have run the car a little bit too hard.
A lot of discussion this week about blowing tires at tracks like Las Vegas. Well, I'll tell you a racetrack that gives you a lot of load on the tire, and it's a place with a lot of banking like this.
And definitely these guys could expect to see potential blowouts if they're not careful on how hard they've run this car.
Yeah, Bell's pace has dropped off a lot. I think he's really close to blowing a tire out, Finian. Last time by, he was over a half a second off the pace. That time it picks up a little bit, but there is something seriously wrong with the 15.
Yeah, I think he's trying to stretch this out fuel-wise to hit his number to make it to the end. We could see these guys go one more stop at the end.
Yeah, that could be. Maybe it's a fuel situation.
I think that's really the only reason we're seeing him on the track, but you definitely think the tire's about to go down, and he definitely lost its grip.
That time at 23.872, still way off what everyone else is running. Meanwhile, for 6th place, how about this? Here comes Chris Garrett up the inside of Bryce Calusa.
Yeah, and they just blow on by him, this entire group. Mickey getting a little bit held up. Rowan is now up in the 6th, and when we were last looking at him was running in 10th. Gonna not settle there. He's gonna go to the inside of Krasneski. This is for 5th place now.
For whatever Angel Ronis has done to save tire has worked out a heck of a lot for him. He's flying right now.
And Chris Garrett, I think, is doing something nearly similar because both these Mustangs have now flown through the field, now running 5th and 6th.
Whoa, Mickey turns the 20 into turn 3. Crash caution at lap number 91 down the racetrack. And AJ Stravato just misses it. Sproul tank slaps into the fence.
Gonna hit the wall a little bit. Not sure how bad that's gonna be, but curious to see how that started.
Yeah, that was Bryce Calusa. in his Chevrolet Camaro, and everyone's breathing a sigh of relief that they don't have to deal with green flag pit stops right before our pit stop sequence. And I think that there was a miscommunication of who was going to have turn 3 here. You're going to see Eric Mickey has a huge head of steam here. He's going to take a look to the inside, dive underneath. I think there'll be certainly a disagreement in the garage later about that one. Can't really call it. It's just, to me, that's just a racing incident, but you never know how the drivers perceived it.
Yeah, I think Mickey thought he was going to get more alongside the 20, and the 20 thought that he was going to be clear by the corner.
Yeah, maybe a little bit optimistic on the 86, if anything, but you can't blame him. I mean, here's another look at how far alongside the 86 of Mickey was. The field is pitting right now. We'll update you on that when they leave their boxes. And, yeah, it looks like he just got in there a bit hot and turned the 20 around. Bounced off the fence pretty hard with the rear. Shortened it up pretty good. So, 6th caution of the night. Brandon Gagnon has stayed out on the racetrack, and I imagine this is just to lead a lap. Clifton Cockrell currently scored in 2nd place. Connor Horn, the first one off of pit lane. So Horn, Wright, Bowers, Golly, Ronis, Krasneski, Garrett, Mickey. First drivers off pit lane. Tim Downey Jr. is going to roll out in 12th. It should be 10th when everything cycles out after the front drivers come to pit lane. So
we're on the track for about 35 laps, it seems.
A little bit longer than that. Should have been closer to 40-ish. Connor Horn's going to take over the lead as Gagnon and Cockrell hit pit lane.
Still, the Dark Smoke Racing Trio, or 3 of the 4 cars, up 1, 2, 3. They've just swapped order. It was Brandon Bowers that was leading, I think, leading last time. Jeff Wright in 2nd and Connor Horn, but Connor Horn's taking the lead. Then is Jeff Wright still in 2nd, Bowers back into 3rd, and Yusuf Gali is kind of still in 4th place where he started this run. Wasn't able to get past the trio of cars, but for 5th place it's changed. Ronis now appearing as potential underdog in this fight.
So we had a brief stint of sunshine, Finian, but the temperature today has been very constant.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Well, I guess the question becomes, is that affecting, I mean, the track's just picking up rubber, but it doesn't seem to be taking heat or losing heat. So is that throwing off how these guys thought the cars would handle?
I definitely think so. I think a lot of these guys, especially with the conditions, typically when you see the condition as mostly cloudy, you expect it to be maybe 5 to 10 degrees above air temp, depending on, I guess, some other factors if the track is in actual sunshine. But for most of this race, it's been cloudy, except for that, I think, 10-lap stint where we saw some sunshine appear on the track. But the temperature is barely changed at all throughout this race. We started with 100 degrees, up to 101.
So we're going to restart this race with 60 laps to go. Now it's time, Finian, pick a driver to win this thing, because I got my eyes squarely on Connor Horn, but maybe you've got a different idea.
I think Jeff Wright has got a decent amount of pick. I think if we can see more short runs, I think it'll go into the 48's favor, which I think we definitely got a shot. I believe this is our 7th caution of the night.
Could it be 6? Let's double check. 6th caution. Doubling back up for the restart. Horn chooses the bottom of the racetrack. No surprises there. So for the restart, it'll be Horn, Wright, Bowers, Golly, Ronis, Krasneski, Garrett, and Matt White, your first 4 rows.
Also, Tim Downey Jr. sitting in 9th place. He's looking like he's a little bit racy at this point.
60 laps to go here from Outsider Racing League at The Rock. Green flag back in the air, racing again from Rockingham. Whoa, getting real racy at the exit of turn 2. Bowers and Wright battling for that 2nd position. A little bit of a push maybe from the 54, propelling that 31 forward, but Wright still hanging on the outside for now.
He's trying to, and you can see now Bowers is able to go sideways off the turn 4, but they get clear of the 48. And here comes the 54.
Whoa!
Yusuf Gali up the inside. You see a bunch of battles off midfield.
Running on board with Alex Bell. Look at the chaos in front here, Finney. This is a high-risk moment. Everybody's going for everything they can get in the early stages of this green flag run. A mistake happening here is a very bad thing for everybody else behind. Jeremy Miller slow off of a corner. This is down in turn 3. And this is...
he went for a slide off the 2.
Yeah, here's a look. This happened at the front of the field. We would almost certainly have a caution. Just gets loose. And Tank slaps it down the back straightaway. Head back out live, because for second place, it's going to get interesting. Bowers has it, Wright wants it. Golly and Moore are right behind. How about Angelo Ronis? This is a great run for him tonight in his brand new Mustang.
And even Chris Garrett, too. Actually, where did Chris Garrett start? Because I think it was pretty far down the order.
21st.
Yeah.
Ronis, how about 24th?
Yeah, so both these drivers have moved up significantly through the field.
Whoa! Alex
15.
Bell.
He's still loose down the entirety of the back straightaway. He's able to correct it out. He's got also Elliott Butler and Sturgill behind him.
He was driving the wheels off it for a moment. Lap number 99 for second place. Wright has gotten back by Bowers. Bowers trying to hang on to third place, but here comes Golly up the inside. Drives in deep to hang on to it. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Low tire pressures. Sparks flying at the exit of turn 4.
I think Golly's got a little bit of an advantage being on that inside lane. That outside I just don't think is good yet. I think it may come in later in the run once the tires wear up. You can see him, how he's just able to keep that car glued to the inside and get clear of the 31. But Bauer's not done yet. Back to the inside for him.
Crossover into turn 3. Golly drives in deep. Contact. Woo. He's going to slide up the racetrack. Bowers wants it back bad. And here comes Ronis.
Where do you go if you're the 11?
I'm going to lay back and let these guys decide it amongst themselves here. More contact now. Pinching. Crashing out of turn 2. Almost, but they hang on.
That was a crashing. That was just door banging out of turn 2.
That's a crash. We're doing 150 miles an hour. That's a crash, Finian. At least it is to me.
Here comes Ronis now. He's going to try to go to the inside of the 31, and Bowers just being used up at this point, and he's got a bunch of cars in behind him.
Elbows out right now. Bowers, Ronis, Krasneski, Garrett, and how about Tim Downey Jr. from the back of the field, clawing his way forward. He's inside the top 10 now.
Garrett now is starting to drop back. He was right in behind Ronis, but is falling back. Here comes Krasneski now on the back of Ronis.
For the lead, Jeff Wright has caught Connor Horn. Let's jump there for a moment. We're going to have a race on our hands.
Yeah, I definitely think so. This is what I was talking about. I think Wright's definitely got the short run.
Whoa, Ronis out of turn 2.
He's on the apron now, getting slow down. I think he got loose in the middle of 1 and 2.
Gives up a lot of spots. 3 wide, gets on the apron to let the field by. For the lead, though, still tight.
So indeed, I'm curious how much of a fight these guys are going to put up. The laps are winding down. We got just over 50 laps to go.
Horn has led only 20 laps today. Wright has led 31. Bowers has led a race-high 38. He wants to get back to the front, but he's too far back right now to contest that lead.
I think he's definitely going to potentially be around 4th. I don't think he could really
Caution.
get past 54 with Golly.
Oh, this is going to be a big one on the back straightaway.
Martin Sproul is sitting in the middle of this.
Gets slammed by the 42 way after the caution to come out. And Sproul's car is absolutely destroyed in the back straightaway. And his night, his claw back forward after and missing several wrecks tonight.
Yeah.
He's finally a part of one. Let's see exactly what. I told you there was a lot of cars having issues, and I think AJ Stravato, your points leader, was involved in this. Down the back straightaway. Just bounces off. Ooh, caught Eric Mickey.
Yeah, Sprout got only a small piece of it, but yeah, Sprout has got into the ball. Wow, a lot of guys did a great job avoiding this.
And then way after the I don't know what the 42 was doing at all there, but also the 86 gets caught up in this. That was Eric Mickey. Trying to see how Mickey got into this. So he was just minding his own business, and the 19 is just going to get off the fence and collect the 86.
Mickey was just a victim there. You're going to see Spartans go a little bit into the wall. Correct. Into the...
wow.
The 86 hard to the wall.
Almost got airborne there. And slides back down the racetrack and thankfully didn't get collected by anybody else.
Gates actually want to ride on board with Ryan Lang in the 35.
Well, we'll take a look at what Lang saw here. Watch this car get airborne. We'll ride on board with the 35 car of Ryan Lang here in just a moment. He's pretty far back. You see the 86 right in front of the red and white car. Oh, he's actually way up the road.
Yeah.
And Lang coming into the picture now. The 16 was loose. Big hit.
And watch them try to avoid this.
Wow, and a little bit of contact there. Then the 42. I have to go back and ride on board with the 42 and see what was going on here. This is actually kind of impressive. that he managed to
Yeah, I think he stepped on the brakes too hard.
Yeah.
And I think the fronts locked up while he was turning.
I think it might have been the rears, actually. Yeah, rears. You can see the fronts too. That was just.
Yeah, I think he just lost traction in the front.
Yeah, yeah, that was a little bit out of control there, but unfortunately for 19, any chance that he had at recovering that car is now over. AJ Stravato has decided to stay out. Well, a lot of drivers have come in, so he's got 14 laps on his tires. What do you think about this?
I think he might. I don't know. I feel like he might come in here. This might have been just to lead a lap. Yeah, that's.
Well, he's also got a lot of damage on their car from that collision, so.
I would be surprised if he did stay out. I think this might be him just trying to pick up a point because I think he knows the rest of the day is not going to be too great for him. We might see him drop back down to pit road.
We're going to find out what's going to happen here in just a moment. Elliott Butler is currently will be scored as the leader if he stays out.
Yeah. Looks like Stravato is going to stay out.
Oh boy!
I'm actually curious. Did Butler take 2 tires? Because I feel like he did.
Butler did take 2 tires, so.
I feel like it was too many laps to go for that to work, but we'll see.
I agree with you, but I think what they're banking on is that we're going to have a bunch of yellows to shorten this race up a lot. And honestly, for a guy like Stravato, I'm on board with this. He has not had a good day today. He has not been able to move forward with the pace that the 25 or the 50 did. I think right now this is a good strategy for him.
2 drivers that really I want to point out to the Downey Enterprises cars, currently running 8th. And also, you see a little bit further back is Zach Halpern. We've seen Tim Downey move up the field. Not a whole lot of Zach Halpern. He's been really quiet. But here they are in the late going the race where they need it, and the cars are pretty much perfectly fine.
Coming back to the restart, it'll be lap 110. About 46 laps to go. AJ Stravato, last week's winner in the M&M's Camaro, leading this race with a damaged car on old tires. This is going to get interesting. Time to go racing. 46 to go here from Rockingham, round number 2 of the season for the Outsider Racing League. Green flag back in the air. Bit of a stack up on the start. Butler doesn't get going. How long will Stravato be able to hang on to the lead? Maybe not for long, because here comes right up the inside for turn 3.
It's going to be dangerous here.
Stravato hangs on for now. Butler on the outside, right on the bottom. Yusuf Ghali up the middle. Horn, Butler! Wow, this is getting wild at the exit of the corner.
And 3 wide there for a moment, back 2 wide. And I'm not sure that was off the nose of the 54 or not. That the 48 got sideways, but Jeff Wright's still trying to get that car up to speed. Now he's fighting with the 6 of Elliott Butler on the outside.
Yeah, and while they're collecting themselves, AJ Stravato has gotten a lead caution at the back. Chris Garrett in the 57. He's spun around at the exit of 2. And you see the tire marks sledding all the way across the back straightaway.
Looks like he's alright. Maybe a slight scuff to the right side of the car, but other than that.
And, we've seen this happen. Woo! Angelo Ronis did a great job.
A lot of these guys have done a great job getting on the brakes for some of these wrecks. Yeah, great job.
And didn't hit anything, just looped it around. So, back under yellow. We'll take a moment to take a breath. It's our 8th caution of the night. And Stravato's strategy so far was playing out because Wright got all out of shape at the exit of turn 4. Now the question is, will he be able to hang on to it this time? I'm not thinking he's going to get so lucky.
No, I think this was like 10 or 5 laps to go. I'd say, yeah, he's definitely got a shot. With this, again, we've still got over 40 laps to go in this race. It's a little bit too long. And we saw also Reggie Ortega, you tried something similar at Kentucky. Granted, with significantly less laps to go, and was able to hold on to the lead with a myriad of cautions. I think, again, just too many laps for the 33 to stay up here. I think, though, if anything, he'll get a solid finish.
Stravato's been out for 19 laps on his tires. Jeff Wright has been out for 6.
I'm just a little bit worried about the nose damage on that 33. Other than that, I think the cars are right.
Yeah, it's not insignificant. We saw Yusuf Ghali get some earlier, and it hasn't seemed to hurt him, but this is a little bit more than the 54 had.
Yeah, it was a decent hit, so...
It's certainly not going to help you.
Yeah, I'm just curious if he's down on power. I mean, he might be. He might not be. He knows how well the car is handling, so... I mean, it seemed all right on that restart, but again...
Yeah, he was... Yeah, he didn't... He was able to kind of gap the field while they were all battling. The question is, straight up in a fight, will he be able to hang on? I'm not sure that he will.
I don't think so either.
But it might be as much the tire as it is anything else.
Yeah. So, Only really he knows how the car is responding and how well it is, but Jeff Wright's may try to take it away from him.
So, Jeff Wright, let's talk about him for a second, because in the past, his go-to races to win were the road course races. Next week, we head to Watkins Glen International, and we don't head to the normal Watkins Glen where he struggled last fall. We're going to Watkins Glen, the boot configuration. So that tells me that a guy with road course prowess like Jeff Wright is going to have a huge advantage over everybody else, because he seems to do better on the technical courses like Sonoma, like Silverstone that we ran last season. So I think Jeff Wright's in a great position to win next week. I don't think he would be in that position if we were at the short course, because everyone's got that place figured out. When you add the boot section on it, it totally changes who's going to be good at the track.
And you really only run the boot course if you run, IndyCar or sports car racing. So that's really only the drivers that'll have decent experience there. Or if you're just decent at the road course, you'll be able to pick it up with relative ease. And I'm curious how the order is going to play out. If I'm not mistaken, also AJ Stravato finished second to Jeff Wright at Silverstone and almost won the race. If it hadn't been for a lap car that he got in trouble with in the later going. So he's looking like he could pick up some pretty solid points there. If not tonight, Duvey can keep this up in first. Imagine winning the first 2 races of the season.
That would be a really solid start. So Jeff Wright next week has a good chance of winning. Yusuf Ghali is a driver that we saw win at Watkins Glen last season, so we know he's going to be good. Connor Horn is back in the series, and we know he's good pretty much everywhere, so he's going to be certainly a threat. And there's a couple other drivers throughout the field that I could see being a threat at the road courses as well. So, Eric Mickey, another driver that we should keep an eye on for next week.
Yeah, actually, especially, I think
they were just there the other night at Watkins Glen in the Ferrari Challenge.
I think, honestly, out of all these guys, I think if anything, Eric Mickey would have the most road course experience from those guys, especially on that configuration.
Certainly a dark horse coming into that event, still relatively new to the series. Not a lot of drivers know who he is, but they will know next week at Watkins Glen. Tomorrow night, we've got Indy Elite Series racing from the Milwaukee Mile. Then Monday, ERSCA from Daytona. Tuesday, Grid Life, Speed 51, and Fuel Premier Series action. A lot going on. Fuel is at Rockingham as well, so lots of action coming up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Time to go racing. 40 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Stravato leads them down, and Wright pulls even with them as they enter turn 1.
Trying to build up the run off the corner, which I think he might be able to carry here. And then you can see Stravato loose on the corner, going to pretty much surrender the lead there to the wide to Jeff Wright.
3 wide for second for a moment. Horn backed out of it, thought that was a bad situation, and jumped on the binders.
Oh, Stravato really struggling on those older tires, now loose to the inside.
Yeah,
he's just trying to recollect it.
Yeah, I think he's just going to collect it. No! Contact! Bell slides in turn 2. Can he hang on to it? Big bobble, and somehow he does, but at the expense of Bowers. No, big crash behind him.
Midfield. Lot of drivers involved. It's the big one at Rockingham.
That's junk. Joshua Banks, Jeremy Miller, Ryan Lang, Zach Halpern, Eric Mickey, Brandon Gagnon, and more. And Ryan Lang continues to roll backwards.
I think he's waiting to get here, or I think he's gonna. I think he knows the car is done.
Yeah, he's gonna back it up into the pit lane. But there he goes, loops it back around. So, big crash at the exit of turn 2 on lap number 118. And how did this start? I think it was Halpern that got turned around originally. Here's a look.
I think this is all in reaction to the wreck up the road.
Yeah, so you see up the road, you just saw that shot. You see Halpern, he's already loose. I don't know if this would have happened.
No, I think that might have been him just in reaction to it. I think he got the car upset.
Oh, he gets turned by the one. Yeah. Matt White. And up the racetrack, Gagnon. Wow, Gagnon noses hard into the fence. And Joshua Banks is going to drill the 26.
He had absolutely nowhere to go.
That was a big mess. Right on board with the 36 at full speed to get a true sense of how hard this impact was for Joshua Banks.
He can barely see, too, what's going on ahead. He can't see much of
you see Casey Lakatos is already on the binder. Whoa, man, what a hit. Yeah, that was a bad situation. And Casey Lakatos, and who else was down here? He was already loose. He just jumps on the brakes with Ronis. And they just see this big mess happening, and they just stop.
Yeah, they were lucky they were actually able to be on the inside to get to the apron to slow down. Well, these are the other guys. You can't really slow down on the banking, otherwise the car gets loose.
Eric Mickey had a great view of this as well. And Banks was flying in there and hoping that an opening would happen, and it didn't. Someone went inside the Pit wall in the back straightaway. That was the 57 of Chris Garrett.
He's missing the nose off that car. That car is pretty much destroyed.
Watch where he ends up after all this.
He got hit from Miller. That sent him into the other pit road on the back straightaway.
And looped back in. That car is also pretty torn up. So,
actually, if we can, we should probably also take a look at what happened with the up the road from those guys.
Oh yeah, that was probably be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Essentially, what kind of caused the secondary wreck that brought a lot more guys involved.
Yeah, so that was, it started with, I believe it was the 15 of Alex Bell. That was kind of the sandwich in all of that. And let's see exactly how that all ended up happening. And we've got to go back a little bit farther to find this, but okay, here's a look. Stravato, yeah, I mean, just too many cars.
Yeah, it was just a bad situation. And they were able to get, all three of them were pretty much able to get through there with relatively little damage.
Yeah, so I think what happens is Bowers and Bell, they might have thought they were going to clear the 33 by the time they got to the corner,
yeah.
and there was no way that you're going to fit all three cars all aiming for the bottom line like that. And unfortunately,
there's a lot going on in very short time, and yeah.
Yeah, that being said, well done by Bell to hang on to this.
Yeah.
And
drifted in turn one.
I'm starting to get convinced that the 31 of Bowers is cursed because, again, gets pole, runs up front at the beginning of the races, and just never can finish them out.
Well, I'm just saying, the 33 is his teammate. the bad juju's got to go somewhere.
Sometimes you have to pass off your bad luck to somebody else to get any good luck.
Unfortunately, though, for Stravato, he's dropped to the back, I think probably just to fix some of his damages, I think figured.
Yeah, well, once he lost the lead, that strategy's out the window. So
Bowers also in the back of the field as well. He can definitely move a few more spots, but it's going to take quite a while. But it's Jeff right now with Elliott, Butler, Connor Horn, Yusuf Ghali, and Michael Sturgill. How about him in the 90 in your top 5?
He was up front earlier and ended up crashed around, so we'll see if he can run a little bit better this time.
Tim Downey also in 6th.
6th play. That's phenomenal. Eddie Trejo in 7th. Bryce Calusa rebounding from his crash to 8th. Green flag back in the air. Right tank slaps. And a race to the start-finish line. Almost 4 wide for a moment. Horn jams on the brakes. Here comes Ghali up the middle. 3 wide for the lead.
Oh boy, Lenise made it through that all right. But it looks like Ghali might be able to get this.
What a pass.
Too. But no, he's not clear just yet. Jeff Wright's still fighting to the inside, and Ghali's going to cut him off in 3.
Woo, man, what a restart for the 54 to the top spot. Right, high out of turn 4. The 6 and the 3 get together on the front straightaway. Will they crash? No, they're going to give each other just enough room, and Butler goes 2nd place.
He cut him off quite a bit. Now here comes Jeff Wright, going to give a little bit of a bump to the 6 and 2, send him up the track, and now here comes Jeff Wright. Connor trying to follow on.
Crash behind him, 35 car in the wall.
Oh, that's Ryan Lang. He's hit the wall. He's going to stay out of the way, and we're going to keep green.
Somehow we have not had a crash in this restart. Elbows are out. Drivers are running into each other. They're running out of time. Just over 30 laps to go. Sturgill sideways through turn 1. Downey all over the back of the 90. For the lead, though, it's Ghali with an 8/10 of a second lead.
He's trying to run away with this. He's got a decent gap, although I still would be careful. That 48, he's definitely got some pace.
Somebody needs to tell these guys they have a little bit of time left. They're driving like it's lap number 154. Wright and Butler for 2nd. Horn in 3rd. He almost crashed at the exit of turn 2 a few laps ago. He collected himself and runs P4.
I'm really interested in seeing what this 3's got. I think out of any of these guys, Connor's got the best long run pace.
Ghali's a dangerous car out front, though. Was one of the quickest drivers in practice. And is stretching the gap on Jeff Wright. Wright was a hair quicker, but Butler was actually the fastest car inside the top 10 the last lap by.
Gap for your leaders, and everyone from 2nd on back started to kind of close up together again. You can see from Wright all the way back to around Bryce Calusa. They're starting to close up on one another.
Got through that restart somehow. Running out of laps now. Horn and Butler fighting for 3rd.
See Horn trying to get a lane on the 6. He's going to make a move to the outside. Barely.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of room there, but he made it work. A little bit of contact. Right rearing him into turn 1. That was almost a disaster.
Here comes Horn now.
Oh,
they're still going to
big
bump each
block.
other. They're not happy with each other.
They're certainly not. Horn up the inside. He's going to back off for now. Blocks, bumpers, sparks flying, paint trading. This is how you race at Rockingham. Butler and Horn duking it out for third place.
Connor not going to send it up the inside. He knows what happens if he does.
Sturgill riding behind. This is a bad place for anybody to be right now, right behind these two.
He's waiting to potentially pick up 2 spots if these guys get into each other again.
I'll leave a little bit of distance just to be sure. In Butler's defense, he's hung on.
Up the road, though. Golly's really fallen off the pace. He was 3/10 slow last time by to Jeff Wright. Now 1/10 this time by. The Wright really getting to that lead. 3/10 to the gap.
Here comes Horn up the inside. Butler moving across the racetrack to try to throw a block. Horn still stuck behind the 6 as they're losing ground to the leaders.
I don't think they care about the leaders right now. They're concerned with each other. Here comes Connor Horn, the best run he's had on the 6 this run.
Whoa, Butler in the fence down in turn 1. Leaders are getting mighty close. We don't want to pull away from this battle quite yet, though. 25 laps to go.
Butler's still putting up a really good fight, but I think out of 4, there's really where that inside lane is really good. And you can see him, he's going to clear Butler out of 4. Connor Horn up in second, but up for the front. It's a 2/10 gap, no 1/10 gap.
Downey and Sturgill fighting hard for 5th place. Downey on the inside. Lead is still stuck at 0.2 of a second. We'll take you there if there's a pass. We're going to keep your eyes on the 90 and the 25 until this pass is complete.
Tim Downey's still trying to wrestle away from...
Oh, man.
And he's going to force Sturgill out of the line. That's going to be Downey up into 5th. Meanwhile, up for the lead. Wright's really eating away at that gap.
Yeah, but he's dropped off a little bit now that he's right behind the 54, so the aero push certainly hurting the 48. Running out of laps, though, just over 20 laps to go. Some lap traffic up ahead of the leaders. That's certainly going to factor in. And now it's a 10th.
He's got a great run out of 2, but yeah, he's starting to stall in a little bit behind the 54.
Look at the front of the 54. The splitter is actually bent up in the center. I wonder how much that is affecting the performance of that car. Here comes Wright down to the bottom.
He's trying to take a look at the 54. Sun's out now. As these guys continue to battle on, next time by, it's going to be 20 laps to go.
The ticker will stop counting up and start counting down. Dolly in the lead. He's only led 13 of these today. Garrett up high. Wright trying to chase the leader down. 20 laps to go from Rockingham.
Called quite a bit last lap through, but I still think that 48's got the faster car. I think the problem is getting by. Golly, is going to be a really tough job.
For now, it's stabilized momentarily. Let's jump back to 5th. Tim Downey Jr., Sturgill, Bell. Bell was almost in a crash a couple laps ago, and here he is knocking on the door of the top 5 yet again. A lot of rebounds today. How about Carr, Trejo, Lakatos, Mickey, and White all in a battle?
Yeah, and Ronis too as well up in the 10th. He's been all up and down the order tonight.
Up the inside. Oh, Trejo and Carr. Feet between them.
He almost got into Carr there off the corner. Now here comes Lakatos and also Eric Mickey trying to make up for after getting put into the wall.
I did not think that this 86 would be anywhere near competitive after that contact, but here he is, knocking on the door for 13th at the exit at turn 4, side by side with Trejo and Lakatos right in front of us. Big slide for the 21.
Whoa,
big slide for the 86.
Yeah. Up the hill he goes. Ooh, and Jeff Wright's lost a lot of time to Golly up ahead. Now 7/10 the gap.
Tim Downey Jr., Michael Sturgill, Alex Bell fighting for 5th place. Golly starting to pull away just a little bit. Wright might have burned off his tires trying to chase in Golly.
He's dropping a lot, but I'm just hit the wall or something.
No damage on that car. Might have gotten held up by some lap traffic. It was a 23.104 last time, which is about 4.5 tenths off the pace from where he should be. Crossed the line that time, right back on pace, but still a little slower than Golly. Riding on board with Tim Downey Jr. That's Michael Sturgill. That's filling up most of your screen. And out of turn 2, battle down the back straight.
Sturgill looking to take another run at Tim Downey. Both these guys fighting for a top 5 spot.
And Alex Bell going to try to follow on the 90. And Sturgill with a great pass down into turn 1, and Bell's going to try to follow through. And he gets the job done. Downey back to 7th.
Gap up for the lead now, 1.2 seconds. I don't know what happened to Jeff Wright.
Yeah, he's actually falling right into the clutches of Horn. And this could be Jeff Wright trying a little bit too hard, burning off the tires early in that run, trying to catch Yusuf Ghali, because he has slowed significantly. That being said, Ghali was only a tenth quicker than that last time by. Horn is one of the quickest drivers in the top 10 right now, down to the inside for second.
I think we're going to see Wright surrender this to the 3, saying, go get him.
And we're running out of laps. Take a look. 14 to go. It'll be 13 this time by. Come across the line. And it's a 1.7 second gap. Yusuf Ghali last season missed the chase. Had a horrible start to the season. Then he went off during the chase and won a whole bunch of races. And even almost knocked on the door of making his way in, but he wasn't able to compete for a championship because he had missed the playoff cut line. He'd certainly put himself in a great position tonight by locking up a race victory. Last week, ran really well at Daytona inside the top 5. Almost won the race. He's only got 12 more to go to lock up his first victory of the 2020 season.
So looking at this fight, midfield, Sturgill now up into 4th place. What a late race charge for the 90.
Great charge. And I don't have the lowest for him today, but he's dropped down almost to the tail of the field after he was around earlier. Started 9th up to 4th, and like you said, good charge. Horn has closed the gap a little bit, Finian, but it's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot indeed. I think he's really going to have to bank on Ghali burning up his stuff and really falling off the pace in the next few laps. Really, only Ghali and Horn were the only few cars left to be running under the 23-second mark, and now Horn, he's actually the only one now, last time by, to be under the 23-second mark.
That was a 2/10 difference. Tim Downey Jr. a little slow up in front of them. How about Bell? And that is the 6 of Butler. This is for 5th.
Oh, a little bit off the wall for Butler. Almost got into the 15.
I'm not sure if we're done with the lead yet, Finian. 1.4 seconds. That gap continues to shrink by about 1/10 to 2/10 a lap.
It's barely enough.
But how much is going on inside the head of the 54? Is that bothering Ghali to see that car get bigger in the mirror?
Yeah, I'm sure for him, he's got to just keep an eye on the road ahead, just hit his marks for the next 9 laps, and he can walk out of here with the win.
If we get a caution, everything changes.
And it could be from here as we look at Tim Downey Jr. He's slowly trickling back now.
Yeah, he's really struggling right now. That time by, Ghali was a hair quicker than Horn. 8 laps to go.
Looking at Calusa, Ronis, and Butler duking it out for the 6th spot.
Ghali with a late race 3 wide pass for the lead on a restart has put himself in position to win. 7 laps to go. Horn slower that time. I wonder if he's burned his stuff off now. He's not able to gain.
This is also the exit's going to hurt him a little bit.
Going to hurt him a lot bit. Slowed him down quite a bit. Angelo Ronis, another late race charge for him. He was behind all that big crash at the exit of turn 2. He's charged his way forward in the late going. Lacanis and Mickey, they're back in a fight. How about these guys? Brennan Bowers, Eddie Trejo, all duking it out. And if any of these guys loop around, we're going to have a green-white checker.
Yeah, really the only time that Ghali is safe from that is when he sees and takes the white flag. Otherwise, you could see another restart, and that's definitely not what he wants.
If he could see this right now, he would be very, very, very nervous. But he's focused on the road ahead.
His eyes are on the prize here. You're going to come 4 laps ago now. Or 5.
5 to go for these drivers. 4 to go for Yusuf Ghali when he comes back around. It's still a 1.6 second gap. The Sim Motorsports driver, brand new to the team this year. Of course, the vacancy of Alec Martinez after he left the team and left the series. Yusuf Ghali came over to drive the lead Sim Motorsports entry. And they have a winning pedigree. Winning a championship with Eli Hinton a few seasons ago. Winning a series high number of victories last season, only to come up just short in the championship. And now the 3rd driver to be in the car is putting on a show here in the 2nd race of the season after an impressive 3 wide pass for the lead late in the going.
Yeah, I'm just noticing that car has actually changed hands quite a bit. 3 different drivers, 3 different years. One of them a champion, and another one winning, I think, one of the most races last year.
Tied for the most with eventual series winner Tim Downey Jr. 2 laps to go for Ghali this time by. Grid Life Touring Cup on the hood, the racing series that gave us our big break in the real world with commentary. And a very exciting season ahead for Sim TV in the real world.
And as he's running turns 3 and 4, he's going to see the flag he's been waiting for the last 10 minutes. White flag in the air for Yusuf Ghali.
One more time around, 1 mile left for Sim Motorsports driver Yusuf Ghali. Through turns 1 and 2. Half a lap left. It took a couple of cautions, some chaos, and a whole lot of luck. But an impressive 3-wide pass on a restart for Yusuf Ghali will win him the second race of the season. Yusuf Ghali wins at Rockingham.
And Connor Hort's going to just line up just short of the line in second place. Meanwhile, off of turn 4, it's going to be Jeff Wright, who's fighting Michael Sturgill for third place. Sturgill got to settle for fourth. Bell, fifth. Ronas in sixth. Calusa, seventh. Tim Downey in eighth. Justin Krasneski in ninth. And Elliott Butler rounding out your top 10.
For third place, the differential was 83 thousandths of a second. But Yusuf Ghali wins his first race of the season and the Grid Live Touring Cup colors in victory lane. He's getting real used to doing burnouts, Finian. He's been absolutely rock solid ever since his transition from the Ford side of things to Toyota. He has just been on an absolute tear of race victories. Here's a look at your unofficial race results. 10 lead changes in this race. 9 cautions for a total of 34 laps, but Connor Horn mounting a late race charge, unable to catch Yusuf Ghali.
Yeah, and it looked like he might have been able to. I think he might have just burned up too much stuff with his battle earlier in the race with Elliott Butler, if I'm not mistaken. Or earlier in that run with Elliott Butler. And I think both of them burned each other's stuff up, and I think that's pretty much why Connor Horn couldn't really get back to him. And I also thought Jeff Wright might have had something. He got up to the tail of him, but yeah, he just burned up his stuff as well. Ghali was able to hold up both charges.
An impressive race for Yusuf Ghali, for Connor Horn, for Jeff Wright, for Michael Sturgill, Alex Bell, Ronas, and more, all getting themselves inside the top 10. Disappointments tonight. Zach Halpern was never really able to climb his way up the order, finishes 18th. Joshua Banks 19th after that big crash at the exit of turn 2. Chris Garrett, Sproul, and Adam Meyer, all promising starts to the night, all involved in race collisions. We'll be back in just a minute to talk to your race winner and more. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV and Outsider Racing League race number 2 of the season. Here now with Michael Sturgill in the number 90. Started 9th, finished 4th, Michael. Tonight it was all over the place. There was chaos and carnage, and you made it your way through it all. Ended up finishing inside the top 5. Pleased with that, or wish you could have gotten a couple more? Because you were on a late race tear up at the front.
Yeah, I wish I could have had a few more laps. I think I definitely would have got 3rd, but I can't complain. I had that issue early on and basically had to start in the very back and just kind of avoid all the craziness and make my way through.
The conditions today were pretty cloudy, and the track temperature was pretty high considering the cloud cover. Did the track transition a lot over the course of the night, or did it seem like it was pretty constant throughout the day?
Seemed pretty constant. I know once the tires were a big deal. On fresh tires, it was pretty slick, but once you got some heat in the tires, it seemed to be pretty good after that.
Solid run for Michael Sturgill tonight. 4th place. Michael, good luck next week at Watkins Glen. That's certainly a new challenge next week. Talk to me about the boot course at Watkins Glen and what kind of challenge you expect that to be for you and your number 90 team.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Never ran the boot in the Cup car before. I've ran, the regular Watkins Glen Cup configuration. I'm okay there. I'm not the best. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna have to do a lot of practice next week and try to get it figured out.
All right, Michael Sturgill, top 5 tonight. Nice work, Michael. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We move on now to our 3rd place finisher, Jeff or Yusuf Ghali. You're gonna drag in the right one. There we go. Hey, Jeff, you got a copy? Hey, Jeff. Kyle from SimTV, got a copy? Guess we'll try that one again. We'll move on now to 2nd place, Connor Horn. Hey, Connor, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, Connor, tonight, a really solid run up front most of the evening. Got a little bit racy with the 6 of Elliott Butler, but you made your way forward and were chasing down Yusuf Ghali. But did you need more laps? Did you need more tire? What did you need to go get that 54?
I needed my teammate to not spin his tires from the lead on the start. That's what made the difference, because Yusuf got clean air and he was gone. And I probably should have just gone to the apron in the turn 1 to get past him, but as his teammate, I didn't feel like that was the right thing to do, so I didn't do it. It cost me time. I couldn't get by Elliott for about 10 laps then. I wanted to send him, but I would have gotten sent to the back anyways. I was able to get by everyone, including Jeff, and I had to drive my ass off to even get to within a second and a half with Yusuf, but by the time I got the second, it was too late because of that botched restart, so it's just disappointing.
Maybe a disappointing night here. Still, a 2nd place is a solid run for you. Look forward to next week at Watkins Glen. Is that a challenge at the boot course that you're looking forward to, or are you a bit concerned about how that's going to run for you and your team?
Well, I haven't practiced the boot much. I'll probably be top 5, definitely. I'd hope top 10. I don't know. I lose it a lot, usually up the S's, but we'll see what happens. I know it's 2nd place. I should probably be more happy about it, but when I feel like I had the best long run car. And I feel like on that restart, if I could have just gotten a good restart and stayed and no one else spun their tires, that I'd win. I did my job. Not everyone else did. Yusuf was able to make a crazy move 3-wide middle, which was pretty cool. But it was unfortunate that we had, at one point, it was all 4 of us teammates up there. And just one of our teammates making a mistake kind of cost the team win. So it's just frustrating.
Connor Horn, 2nd place at Rockingham tonight after starting 2nd. Connor, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at the Glen.
Yep, see you there.
Moving on now to Jeff Wright. Hey, Jeff, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you now, Kyle.
Hey, Jeff. Well, tonight, a really solid run for you, and you ended up leading a total of 36 laps out of the 155. Had a lot of time up front, but kind of slipped away in the closing laps. Just walk us through that final restart and whatever happened.
Yeah, I was just definitely trying to get a good jump there. And, I had done some restarts on some old tires, previous to that restart, and I don't know, for whatever reason, it just reacted way differently. I don't know what it was. I feel bad to all the DSR guys. We were all pretty strong, and definitely had a chance to win that race, and that allowed Yusuf to get around us. And as soon as he got around us, he just took off. I was driving my heart out trying to catch him. I was hoping, maybe catch another yellow, maybe try to redeem myself after a mistake like that, but just didn't get the yellow. Big congrats to Yusuf though, to close that one out. He had to be on his game, and he did just that. But coming in tonight, you tell me I was going to get a top 3, I'd be ecstatic. Obviously, I feel like this is probably one of the most disappointed 3rd place finishes I've ever had, which Rockingham's a place I feel like I don't typically run that well at. So to get a top 3, it's great, but definitely hurts kind of letting that slip away there on that last restart.
Next week, we head to Watkins Glen. That race didn't go so well for you in the end of last season, but it's a different layout this time. Do you think the more technical layout will give you an advantage given your road racing prowess in seasons past?
Well, I feel like a top 3 is a fairly good run, don't you, Kyle?
I sure do.
Yeah, I do like the road courses, and I've had some success on a Sonoma. Watkins Glen, like you said, it's faster, but with the boot, it's going to be a little bit more technical. Maybe they'll play a little bit into my favor. I haven't ran the boot a whole lot at Watkins Glen, so it'll be a bit of a challenge for all of us. But if we can go to Watkins Glen, maybe get away with another top 5, maybe compete for a win again, I'll be satisfied with that. But hopefully this will bounce us back here in the points after a 3rd place finish. Got a few good tracks coming up for us here the next couple weeks, so should be interesting, and we'll try to just keep inching our way forward toward that points lead.
All right, Jeff Wright, 3rd place tonight. Solid run, Jeff. We'll see you next week at the Glen.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Absolutely. We move on now to our race winner this evening. It was Yusuf Ghali in the number 54 Sim Motorsports Grid Life Touring Cup Toyota Camry. Yusuf, first of all, congratulations. This car and this team has a pedigree of winning races and winning championships, and you're already off to a really good start winning the second race of the season. Well, just walk us through that restart and going middle 3 wide to get the lead away.
Oh man, as soon as I saw them spin their tires, I just floored it and shot for the gap, and I thought I might have gotten a penalty, but it was clean, so I was my heart rate after that was so high, man.
I mean, in that moment, I mean, how much risk are you willing to take that late in the race to, because you could sacrifice a good run. So how much of that is risk that you're willing to take, and how much of that is backing out and just kind of letting things play out?
I felt like either way it was going to be a lot of risk. If I checked up and tried to stay behind whoever was in P2, I might have gotten run over, and that would have been a big wreck. And if I had sent it 3 wide and the door closed, that would have been a big wreck. So I was really lucky with the way it went.
So talk to me about this season and how much excitement you have for the upcoming season, because we head to Watkins Glen next week, and that is the race that you won at the tail end of last season, but it's a different layout this time. How much do you think that win at Watkins Glen last season prepares you for next week?
About 70% of the track, I think, is the same, but if we can get that 30% down, we might be able to go 2 in a row.
Yusuf, congratulations. Your first race win of the season after coming so close at Daytona last week. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at the Glen.
Thank you.
All right, Finian, that was going to do it for interviews tonight. I'm just taking a look at the replay of the restart. Let's go back and look at this again from on board the 54, because this is a pretty wild ride here.
Indeed, if we had, an award for, moment of the race, which we don't, if we did, it would definitely go to this one right here.
Up the middle, 3 wide down into turn 1, and that is the pass for the lead that gave Yusuf Ghali the race win. But all said and done, Finian, what a spectacular race we saw tonight. 10 lead changes up at the front, but we didn't really know who was dominant, and I don't know if the dominant car won the race tonight. Yusuf Ghali only led, a handful of laps. It was really right, and probably the 31 that I would have expected to win this race.
Yeah, or the 3 of Connor Horn. I think really those 3, the Dark Smoke guys, were really, really good throughout most of this race until kind of the end. I mean, still Connor and Ryan ended up finishing second, third, and definitely nothing to shy away at. But yeah, there was a really good race, and I posted in the Discord chat for these guys. This track is really awesome. It puts on a great show with this package. I don't know why. I would think due to the banking, but regardless of what it is, really excited to come here next time.
And we're done tonight, but we're not done forever. We got a lot of racing coming up. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure you do, because we got a lot of racing. We've got Milwaukee Mile with the IndyCar tomorrow. We've got the Xfinity car at Daytona on Monday. Then we've got the Xfinity car right here on Tuesday. And we also have GT3 TCR from the Nürburgring on Tuesday. Speed 51 Modifieds on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, the DC Region SCCA takes on the Charlotte Roval. Thursday, Scars Ferrari Challenge heads to Summit Point. Then next week, we're going to be heading to Watkins Glen International in upstate New York for the boot configuration with the stock cars. The first time ever that we've run a stock car on that configuration. So lots to look forward to, lots to be excited about. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Make sure if you're interested in SimTV merchandise, we got a brand new store on our website, simtvbroadcasting.com/store. T-shirts, hats, stickers, and more. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow night for Indy Elite Series, sponsored by the Coca-Cola Company of Kokomo, Indiana. Here we go. See you tomorrow night.